Hello, everybody. Is my... Oh, I still have a bunch of eyeshadow left. Hello, Delta V. Thank you for following. I am not getting any stream chat from Twitch. Only on YouTube, it seems. So... Oh, there we go. Hey, hello. Oh, yeah, like, the Patel news is not at all surprising, if I'm being so for real. And I additionally have good news. I am now full speed ahead on the Destiny piece. I am hoping this weekend I will be recording. And then, yes, Kremura of Hestia, I do see that. Okay, so that was just a little minor flub on my end. You're all good. I'm actually going to go... Oh, wait, no. I have no spray right here. I've been so congested. I think it's a lot of, like, rainfall lately bringing out the last of the pollen or something. Firecrafted Gaming, I see your message. Oh, the video covers everything. Yeah, Comrade Girl, the video will be on... I mean, it's going to be a deep dive like Brianna Wu or Matt Walsh. Like, it is probably going to be... I just crossed 12,000 words, and I am... I don't even want to say halfway through. So it's going to probably be at least as long as the Brianna Wu piece. Mamdani, is my goat washed? So you know how I say never put all of your stock in any politician? I think there's a I don't know. Somebody's saying I've been locked out still of politics other than Mamdani and Trump. After I locked out again, I'm so tired. Blessings upon you for that, by the way. I wish I could do that. Yeah, awesome, Stella. So I am going to try and keep doing the early stream schedule. I have not been able yet to really cement it, but I still do want to try doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams. Yeah, tripped out Emery Lane. I'm sure everyone will react very, very normally to a Destiny video. Here's the thing. I think Destiny is, like, his audience is going to try and come for my head. I don't really care. But I think it will, like with all of these other people, it will reach their supporters kind of where they're at. I hope that in taking the same kind of metered approach that I take with all of my content, with all of my personal exposés, deep dives, all that shit, people will understand that I am not doing this solely because I dislike Destiny, but because of what he kind of represents in a larger progressive movement at this time, which is just craven self-interest, basically. And thank you, Awesome Stella. Yes, if you want to... Oh no, the JonTron will come up. Like, I'm talking about literally everything I can get my hands on. I have been writing and digging into this and doing research for, like, on and off months now. Yeah, Reign in Chaos, that's kind of the long and short of it for me. Let me... Because we also have... I want to talk about a Wired article on leftist gun ownership that I think is really neat. Oh, there we go. Hell yeah, leftist voice. That sounds like a good, reputable. Yeah, Black Rose PCS. We need to constantly be on guard about any political figure. I'm sorry you had to watch so much Destiny. Here's the problem. The thing with watching so much Destiny is that it's not like I'll say this in a past tense. I did find his, and I still do to an extent, I find his personality very grating. But having listened to him alongside, because he is constantly going on podcasts, all of his stuff is mostly debate shit. So there's always somebody else there who is usually inarguably worse to listen to. Like, it is, I am listening to like the Whatever Podcast Bros or Myron Gaines or fucking Sneeko or Aiden Ross so much. And I like, they are so stupid, just wildly dumb people. Yeah. Oh, no. Awesome Stella, I'm not talking about Zoran meeting Trump. I'm talking about the Jeffries thing. Jim Jeffries. The Hakeem Jeffries thing. Yeah, Aiden Ross is like, there's one moment, because the other problem with Destiny is that like there are a lot of things rhetorically, and I have to be very careful with how I say that. We got Cat on stream, by the way. You can see the tail. Yeah, a tripped out Emery Lane. That's a good way to put it. Destiny is awful, but he's often the most reasonable guy in the room. Well, it's so his arguments in debate are often the most reasonable in the room. He himself has become such a wildly unhinged narcissist. And the problem is that in kind of telling that story and analyzing him, I am not, as I often do, I don't do just like summary shit, you know? And yeah, I did do mushrooms. I'll talk about that in a second. I don't want to just summarize, here are the controversies he's involved in, here's this, because he's such a more, both less complicated and more complicated person to kind of parse everything and piece everything together. Much like Brianna Wu. Like, I'm not going to say Brianna Wu is a, complicated person with a rich internal life. But there are things that when you kind of cross-reference them, things that she said or did 15, 20 years ago, and how they align or how they're so similar to things now, where it's just like, huh. Like a lot of people pointed to, or the thing about Brianna Wu that were like, hey, I never knew about this, was the way that she would fetishistically draw leather-clad babes on bikes that looked like her. The way that she would tell stories that were almost certainly lies that involved fetishizing her motorcycle, and like kind of cross-referencing all of that, and people were like, oh, damn, she really does like have this weird perception of herself. And there's so many little Destinyisms like that. The Gray Goblin, 5165. Thank you for $5. When the apocalypse happens, who are you hunting for sport first, Carlson or Fuentes? Well, okay, so if I'm hunting for sport and not for sustenance, those are two very separate occasions. I would say for sport, I guess Tucker was probably the bigger game. Because, let's be honest, Tucker, I would believe that Tucker at least has been hunting, right? Like, Tucker has, I would believe, has working knowledge of, firearms, knows how to put on a safety and stuff. Like, I think his LARP or whatever, down-home country bumpkin aesthetic he's cultivating in his fucking log cabin or whatever, I think that would go that far. I don't think the same of Nick Fuentes in a hypothetical. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, yeah. Fighting Hobbit, thank you for 10 bits. Have some pennies. Got into an argument with somebody about the morality of feeding MAGA chuds when Snap is screwed up. Basically, I wound up telling him that the gatekeeping aid behind moral purity testing is literally what conservatives do. Yeah. It is... Oh, okay. Dean M. You said I did not know that. I read motherfucker as muttfucker at first, and I was like, that is some insane racism I've never even seen before. But it wasn't that. Jesus Christ, that scared me. I was like, huh? In my chat? Composting pod, what's good? Can you come on stream? Not yet, because I'm still afraid that if I invite anybody on, I don't have Discord running right now. My computer is slow. But I do. Oh, speaking of which, I want to send a massive, massive fucking shout out to a couple of people. One of whom I believe is anonymous. I'll have to, hit me up in Twitter DMs if that's not the case. But the people who helped out, who bought the mouse when it was flagging, who have I've restocked my throne a couple of times because I've seen such a honestly wonderful I don't want to wax too fucking poetic on it, but a really, I guess I'll say, inspiring show of support in these headphones. My headphones I still have. Here are the junk ass headphones. I bought these. So when I lost my job at the local news station, they bought out my contract because of rollbacks. Papa Gio, you joined the Discord through Patreon. And I bought these skull candies to use for work because they were like $100 on sale at the time. I bought it with some of my cash out along with the laptop that I'm using. And they have been through thick and thin. I'm showing these off here. I don't have to be embarrassed anymore because somebody helped me out. But I have been kind of embarrassed of these for a while because this part, so you'll see this part's all fucked up and crumply. Not only is the thing shedding, but I had this happen to it. And so I stuffed all the white shit back in and just Gorilla Glued around it. The other part is that this thing broke the hinge there because it's supposed to hinge like this to fold up. But this part doesn't hinge because the whole dang thing just snapped one time. And you can actually see there's a crack in the plastic that's grown bigger over time too. And I Gorilla Glued that back together too. And that was over a year ago. So they have been trying to escape this mortal plane for so long. And here's the thing. This is how growing up poor brained I am. I'm going to keep these in case I need a spare. That's how much I'm okay, but I can't get rid of anything. Right. But I do want to sincerely so much thank, I believe, like I said, I believe they were anonymous, to help out. I thank them for helping out with so many things, because this headset is phenomenal. I have never had at least not while I've done this. So when I worked at Rely on Horror a couple years ago, I had this pair of headphones, which up until now was my favorite, the Astro A50s, that I was given by Astro because they were doing a review thing with the outlet, and so they sent 4 pairs of headphones or something free of charge. Because and we were a small indie outlet. We didn't really get paid. I didn't get paid for my work there until the last year, just because it was so fucking small. And those headphones lasted me for 4 or 5 years. Fighting, how about I want to give you my mac and cheese recipe? Oh yeah. My partner fucking loves mac and cheese. Yeah, she would love that. Leet Ale, thank you for 14 months dead. Who are you rooting for in the CS2 major? Let's go Furia. I guess Furia? You're asking me about Counter-Strike 2? What? That's crazy. But yes, and so between that and I am currently waiting for, here's the other thing I forgot about Throne, is that I try to only put in throne links for my throne list that are from Amazon so that I don't have to wait for the order, because Amazon goes through Prime to do all that shit. So like these ordered came within a week. A couple weeks ago, I put a keyboard on there, and I don't want to get another one because the order is already processing, but the keyboard and the Stream Deck somebody got, so I can actually just use the new computer, have still not arrived. And I'm keeping a track on them, and so I do want to thank people for that, even though I haven't been able to use the new computer yet. But yeah, I did. I also want to thank, of course, the wonderful person, again, kind of you know who you are, who sold me their old gaming PC from just 2 or 3 years ago for $300 or so. Because she will certainly be well loved and absolutely well used. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to up my content game, to move to a next level. I feel like I've been in such a holding pattern for a while now. Yeah. Wed posting. I'm sure somebody came up with wed posting. It is a, what is this? This is a Corsair. I threw away the outside box. Hang on. Let me, because I just got it the other day, and I've been using it for work. It has been fucking insane. I am hoping it will help a lot with like audio issues where sometimes I'm not able to hear like room noise. Oh yeah, awesome. So I did interview with Naomi for a school assignment on homelessness. Not only did he get 100, he said he was very impressed with my work. That's awesome. There was a shooting in DC. Okay, HS80 RGB wireless is the name. All right. Well, let me get that. So is Zoran compromised or something? I think. All right. So here's a problem I think with approaching any politician, even somebody who is as progressive or ostensibly as leftist as Zoran, with being like compromised or not, is that I think more people need to. So two things. This has kind of been a working theory of mine as I've gone through and as I've continued writing on a couple of different pieces. But this convergence that I keep thinking of between algorithms and where we are now, where we have all been from our youngest age, like let me give you an example. When I was a kid, right? I was 6 in 2001. I still remember watching cartoons on TV and having to stick around for shows that I didn't really care about, right? It was like, oh, fuck, it's, Justice League Unlimited or Toonami's playing. Like, I don't give a shit. And now, kids these days don't have to deal with stuff and don't have to really perceive or imbibe things that they don't prefer. Instead, even kids have YouTube algorithms that just hand deliver a bunch of very similar stuff. So what we're in, and that's a microcosm of a much bigger thing I'm talking about, which is that we have all become, I think more people need to be self-aware of how we are. That's a cute look. Yeah. More people need to be self-aware of how comfortable I think we are, and how more people need to be uncomfortable. More people need to be dealing with the cognitive dissonances we have. More people need to be made to feel uncomfortable, I think. Because there are so many things now that are working, and it really is more just the illusion of comfort. It's really just more the illusion of like, here's your comforting slop, and you can just look into it and put aside the rest of the world, because it's getting to a point where people are able to put the phone down for a second and see everything is fucking on fire in one form or another. Now, oh my God, the Surfs TV, thank you so much for rating with a party of 280. Holy shit. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Leftist Ginger Girl. Hi, Lance people. And so I wanted to kind of preface that discussion. Hope y'all had a good stream, by the way. I wanted to preface that discussion because I think politics is one of the ways in which people will turn their back on any perceived slight. And the real problem, I think, with somebody like Zoran is that so many people want there to be one great hope. You know, so many people want there to be this one person who's going to rise up and lead us to victory, or they want there to be this one inciting incident that's going to spark a revolution and will tear capitalism down. The problem is that we live, I've been kind of reading through some Mark Fisher stuff, and there's this idea that ties in with some of like the Nick Land. We talked about this on stream a little while ago with Nick Land stuff and like vaguely accelerationism. But I think you kind of work backwards from that because, how do I put this into words? I don't think accelerationism is viable because the system wouldn't allow it, right? Like, we have a perception that even if the end of the world happens, there's still going to be capitalism. Like think of any post-apocalyptic media at all. Think of Mad Max. Think of Fallout. You are in a world where there is no more government, supposedly. There is no more rules. There's no more all this shit. And yet still people have found and improvised ways to have commerce and capital, right? I think that speaks to a kind of truism that people don't really want to acknowledge, is that like we are so inculcated into this system that we don't want to see an alternative. That even if we try to escape from it, it's hard for like the Western mind specifically to, you know, this gets back to like treatlerism and stuff. It's hard for the Western mind to think of a world without treats, right? Yes, I said treats, but none for you, honey. Thank you, Luke Degner. Thank you for $10. Who's going to be first to trademark the Griftiverse using all the characters of the last 10 years? Oh, that's unfortunately such a funny idea. That would be such a fucking funny fighting game. Like, have Charlie Kirk be the pre-order bonus character. Like he's fucking Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. Oh, hang on. Sorry, just got a whatever. Just got a thing. Did I inspire you to shut out? No, not nearly as much as someone might hope. But there's a where oh God, I was on a tangent. I was gonna tie it back in. I guess my main point is that like when people talk about like, oh, okay, you should advocate for total revolution and stuff, it's like the revolution is not the revolution that people want there to be, like the, you know, like a Russian proper revolution. Some people, not myself, want there to be, or like a French Revolution or even the American Revolution. These kind of touchstones when we think of, you know, a people uprising are from a world that we do not know or understand. It is tangibly from a place and time that is so detached from the comforts we have, from our understanding of like life and morality and how interconnected we are with each other. There are so many myriad things that need to fundamentally change, and not in a way of like, okay, if we just change all these structures, it would be okay, because we have now generations of people who have been brought up within these structures. So it's this incredibly complicated web that just enshrines every aspect of our lives. Which is why I think it is like, it is not harm mitigation kind of gets a bad rap, right? But I don't know. At the same time, I think all of that is to say that you should expect any politician, even one who's ostensibly progressive, you should expect any politician to operate within the constraints by the policies of, by the, what's the word I'm looking for? Civility politics of the system they're in. Like that is probably the thing why, like, I've seen so many people, like, over this Zoran and Hakeem Jeffries thing, who are just hand wringing and being like, oh gosh, I knew it. Oh, he would turn his back on us and do all this stuff. And it's like, because he's working within the system. Like it's like people calling him a fascist when he was meeting with Trump. Did you think he was not going to meet with Trump? Like, if you want, yeah. Anyway, was Obama as left wing as Mamdani? I mean, like, okay, again, here you get into this idea of, like, what does it mean to be left wing? And no, like, by the standards that we have in America of the left, Obama was not. Coming out of, Bush, the second Bush term, like, Obama seemed a real fucking, like it's the same shit that people were saying all the time about, like, Obama being a communist and shit for trying to get the ACA passed. Yeah. Rain Dog Esquire. I would say that is something more people should think about and get behind. I've suggested before, the only ethical accelerationism is one where you build alternative systems able to catch everyone who would fall through the cracks of the system you're destroying, and no state has long tolerated efforts to organize those replacement systems. I think, like, the Black Panther Party is a really great example of that, where, like, essentially the intelligence apparatus of America said, no, we cannot be having, like, essentially self-sustained, economies, and the body of capitalism will treat developments like that as a tumor, and the government will step in to exercise that. And when I say that, like, the body of capitalism doesn't accept these kind of self-sustaining, self-sufficient places, that includes things like Black Wall Street, Is Mamdani or is Trump a Mamdani fanboy? Probably. He was fucking smitten with that dude. Fighting Hobbit, thank you for 3 bits. Idea for a horror movie: a right-wing grifter as a Mr. Hyde style alter ego and goes on a killing spree through his Daily Wire inspired workplace, full-on John Wilder style trash. Now you're talking my language. What the hell? What happened here? Why is that? Okay, there we go. I mean, yeah, you're probably right, Rosa. You're being voluntarist. Do you think MTG will run under Elon's American Party come election time? The dumbest fucking outcome. No, you know what? Americans deserve that, actually, is that we get 2 conservative parties, 2 nationalist, authoritarian conservative parties, and no real left-leaning party. That, like, sure, why not? I just looking into that fucking Black Mirror is so darkly funny to me. Yeah, I think Bianca Tallarico, if Mamdani doesn't fulfill his policy promises, that's when I'll be pissed. So, yeah, I guess I've talked about this for so long. Let's go into it.
Fighting Hobbit, thank you for 20. I think this mostly boils down to how desperate we are as a block for any dub, any at all, but then we're like the kid crying about getting ice cream we wanted it all, but didn't want it. Yeah. When we wanted it, but didn't want it. Yeah, it is this kind of like, does Zoran have to be a revolutionary Marxist in order to please fellow leftists? That's the way that I think so many, and I don't know why. Maybe this is just like that fucking first time meme where it's like, is this their first time going through this cycle or learning and understanding that no, the system is not going to change massively overnight because of one person, because there are so many other factors working against it. 2 guardsmen shot dead in DC. Let me look that up. Jesus. Near the White House. What the fuck? Do they have the shooter? Provide update. Super off topic. What are thoughts on the Saints Row game? I like Saints Row 1 a fair bit. I actually played through it. Was that last year? It might have been the year before, but there was a point where I was just like playing through. I think I was researching somebody for content, and so I was just kind of idly playing it. First Saints Row, fine. It's very much a like blueprint in the first Grand Theft Auto. Saints Row 2, they should remake and remaster, because that game fucking whips, but it performs like absolute ass. Like, that game is so cool, and I love the story and the characters. It's so weird and dark. But like, man, that frame rate and pop in, woof. And then Saints Row 3 to me is a nearly perfect video game. Vitriolic Vermilion, Vesper, thank you very much. I'm way behind, so I won't see if you answer, but I wanted to wish you a blessed holiday full of healthy reflection. If not plenty, I hope you have enough. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I think Saints Row 4 is like... I played Saints Row 4 very late. And I enjoyed it enough, but it's like, yeah, you know, I like the crackdown thing it's doing. It felt, you know, that jump the shark moment was like, okay. And then I really like, oh, word? Kira the Strange and Unusual. I'll be real, I never played Saints Row, but my dad did do voice work for the most recent one. Ugh. So that... Yeah, I didn't like the new Saints Row. I think it's very pretty. I think there's a lot to do, but it was a game that just like playing it made me feel, oh, the team behind this might have been fans of the first game or the first games, but they didn't know like what that secret sauce is. Because the secret sauce isn't just like crazy shit. It is kind of, it's also in the characters and the story. Like, weirdly enough, because for years that series was like, oh yeah, it's just kind of Grand Theft Auto. But no, those are good characters. Even characters I don't like Johnny Gat, that's still a good character in that world and those stories. And I think that was the massive mark they missed. Also, it felt like this weird fucking... It felt like this weird trying to preliminarily sidestep accusations of, like, being too edgy or something. And so it was so safe in the weirdest ways that just made it this tonally inconsistent fucking mess. Yeah, I don't know. That new Saints Row is not great, if I'm being real. Oh yeah, I am fucking way into that new Hellraiser game. I saw the new trailer for that, and I don't even watch trailers for stuff anymore. I was talking to American McGee about this. Yesterday was when I did that interview. And it has been so long since I really was interested in a game to the point where I would go and seek out media and be like, oh, I want to see more trailers of this, because like I get to a point where it's like, yes, I'm going to play the next Resident Evil because I've liked all those Resident Evils, you know? Other than that, like if I see something as here's the new fucking open world gacha collectathon, any of that shit, I'm like, eh. Anna Collins, F90. I would love a Saints Row that really approaches gang culture. There were so many. So I've been watching some Game Informer replay while I've been, doing some writing lately. And there were so many games in that era that really, they wanted to be like the authentic, like real hood experience. And it's so funny because they come off as so goofy. But there was this this want for a grit and grime that permeated the PS2 generation specifically. And I do kind of miss that. Like, I kind of wish we got more, true crime. More... No, they're not good games, but like Narc and 25 to Life are kind of the archetypes of games from that time. They're just like, woof, y'all wanted to get in on that Grand Theft Auto, but did not have the skills. But yeah, no, I spoke to American McGee for a video I'm doing. I've talked about it. Oh yeah, 187 Ride or Die. I mean, there's so many of those fucking games too. You have all the true crime games. You had like, even though they weren't open world, you had like 50 Cent Bulletproof and, I would even consider like, I've been playing a little bit of, I don't know why, but I was playing a little bit of Manhunt, and it has that same like just like tangible goodness. Yeah, not everybody can be Def Jam Fight for New York. I spoke to American McGee for about an hour yesterday because I wanted to interview him. He and I had been talking back and forth for a little bit about an interview on the history of floating rocks in video games as a kind of like exploration of the psychological, right? Where so often I've wanted to do this piece for a little while because it's kind of just a weird fixation of mine. But when you see in Call of Duty or in Dishonored or in any number of games, I've played so many games to get footage for this, and you'll see you go into a character's mind palace or their memories or whatever, and it's this big empty swirling void with floating rocks. And I kind of wanted to just talk about the meanings behind that from a game developer who kind of dealt with that kind of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully that will be, I need to do a little bit more philosophy reading to kind of talk about the symbolism and interpretation of it all instead of just being my offhanded shit. But TKDO91, lately it seems we want a particular kind of game like Manhunt or whatever. It falls on gamers just to make it themselves. I started working on, God, it was a really cool idea I still love. Briefly with a friend years ago, I started prototyping a Manhunt spiritual success. It would have been far, far more limited in scope. Very like linear stealth environments, but it would have been the save system that we were prototyping was so cool because it was going to be like a screenshot. Like you would go to load and you would be able to select your screenshot from a bunch of like screens and then go to that screen and it would it would glitch out and start playing as though you were resuming a recording like that, which was cool. Bleh. Bleh. Yeah, Max Insanity. Just kind of like weird dreamscapes and games and stuff. Rock. Well, and if I'm being honest, just to be here for 9, and this kind of ties into the mushroom trip thing a little bit. I've been really tired this year. I haven't felt the kind of drive to create as much as I want. Part of that is that the videos that I put a lot of time and effort into, as always, don't do amazing. Like the nostalgia video did, honestly, better than I thought it would. And if you haven't watched my video on Your Nostalgia Is Not Your Own, please go check it out. Please like it, share it. That is the thing I am so proud of this year. But I want to do more stuff like that. I want to not, and part of this is like why I want to have a more cemented, constant stream schedule. I don't want to have these long spates where the only content I'm putting out are just reclipped stream highlight videos. And I want to do more philosophical stuff. I want to explore more diverse topics, obviously. Like, fucking go look at my output. Like, I feel like I have a pretty decent diversity, even within like politics. I want to be doing more, and I want to start angling that into filmmaking as well, which I kind of already, I do a lot of stuff that is documentary, that is, I call myself a filmmaker because I have kind of made feature films that are for free on the chat. Leftist Ginger Girl, holy shit, thank you for gifting 5 subbies to Fabuli BXD. Here's to the promise, Amber Lynn and Dawn_Giver. And Cordelia the Moon Goddess, thank you very much for following. Why does your name sound familiar? Have you been on YouTube? I know. Well, and I don't want to say that like the algorithm is against me. I see people in the chat saying that like they don't, and I see this in my fucking videos. Like after a day or two, people will come in and comment like, "Hey, I haven't seen this," and it's just so, it's very frustrating because it's just like, what can I do? Like I can just be like, "Oh, okay, that's why this one didn't do great," and so it's like, and like I don't want to do anymore. This Destiny video has been such a fucking slog to get through because I am tired of over analyzing these people. Because even though I love analysis and I love analyzing things and getting to the bottom of stuff and doing this research, I want to be doing it on more constructive topics and not just, what I try really fucking hard to not make it drama, but what is kind of drama? Yeah, Dragon Cat Overload, get on Nebula. So Nebula, I've talked about this before, is an invite service. So I have to be invited to join it. Thank you very much, Fighting Hobbit, for another 50 bits. If you're looking for a project, I can send you my Outlast movie script. I'm adapting Whistleblower into a script. I would love to see that, honestly. Game Man 4, thank you for following. Salem Kunuich, do a essay/analysis on a movie or game or project you love. So one of the things I kind of want to do, because I love reviewing things. It was how I kind of got started making content, was reviewing games. And I've been thinking of doing, again, these are two things that are so fucking like out of what I think a lot of people would look at as my wheelhouse, but I think it could be really fun. And that is, so Ryan Murphy and Kim Kardashian have a new series on Hulu that is apparently one of the worst TV shows ever. I find Ryan Murphy kind of fascinating because he kind of embodies this very early to mid Obama era like liberalism, and it really just seems like girl boss slop from 15 years ago, which I think would be fascinating culturally to dig into. The other thing I kind of want to do is to dig into Um, Yellowstone, because that is another thing. I am so like I am fascinated enough to squint when I walk by like a Yellowstone t-shirt at Walmart, but I have not dedicated any amount of time to being like, why is there so much? Why is there so fucking much Yellowstone? The Kevin Costner TV show. Yeah, the countrified soap opera. Like there okay, let me tell you what really tipped me off on this is like maybe I should look into this bizarre marketing empire, because we were at the store getting food, as one does. By the way, if you'd like to help donate to our Ko-Fi, we just spent $100 on groceries, hopefully for the next 2 weeks, and it would be rad to be able to have a little bit of money so we don't run out. Absolutely not a massive issue, but Ko-Fi links should be linked in the chat if you want to help with that. I would definitely appreciate it. F5I5H, thank you for following. It's, yeah, Asmodeus Devoluke, American McGee from Alice, the very same. Yeah, the show. It like there were frozen Yellowstone branded frozen meals that are like named after characters on the show. Like in the same way that every now and then, like fruit snacks or something will be named for kids, it'll be like, this is the, here's a little gummy snack of like Batman's Batarang or something like that. It's like, here's this character's stew. And it's like, why? Yeah, no, people, if y'all don't believe me. Yellowstone cowboy cuisine. Huh? Like, this is a... So the thing that fascinates me about it is that this is essentially... Oh, get out of here. The Walmartification of prestige TV. Like, in a way, it... And I need to look into it more. But it feels like wrapping back around of we reach such a high saturation of quality in television that we are wrapping all the way back around to just turn it into the most easily commercialized slop. And that's kind of what Yellowstone feels like to me. But it happened so quick was the thing. Yeah, anyway. So a deep dive into Yellowstone is one thing I would like to do, maybe in the new year. Yeah. Is it made with real cowboys? No. Chef Boyardee for adults. Basically. I mean, hey, what do you mean Chef Boyardee for adults? It's everyone is 12 theory. Uh-huh. Yeah. Awesome Stella ate that shit all the time. It's such good slop food. Save a cow, eat a cowboy. All right, so let's get into... God. I hate my tangents. Sometimes they cause a lot of dissonance. 2 members of the West Virginia National Guards have been shot. Unknown. Later, there were conflicting reports. Suspect appeared to be targeting the guardsmen, firing first at one of them who was mere feet away. Source said the suspect then fired at another guardsman who tried to get behind a bus stop shelter. The suspect is not cooperating with investigators, had no identification on him. What the fuck? Anna Collins, F90. The Everyone is 12 theory is a new kind of copy pasta that is just like I forget what the example they give is, but it is essentially, when you have grown men thinking about shit and getting mad over, video games or a chick's tits not being big enough in a movie or whatever, people are just like, yeah, of course you would think that because you're fucking 12. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one. The flamethrower. Oh, babe, you've barely touched your Yellowstone mac and cheese. Well, yeah, legally developed. Does nobody know anything about the dude? Like, it's been 2 hours. Did nobody see the guy? They are in critical condition. A suspect also was shot and is in custody. President's in Florida for Thanksgiving. Yeah, of course he is. Honestly, B. Parker, I kind of love to see it. I wonder if Funko going belly up might do something regarding the merchandising everything market. And normally big companies, I'm like, damn, that sucks. People lost their jobs. People are going to be looking for new livelihood. I think it does additionally suck right now, especially if you are anybody in designing, anybody in any kind of art adjacent field, anybody in advertising of any kind, because AI companies are trying to fucking come for your jobs. But damn, Funko Pops have been a fucking scourge for far too long. Fighting Hobbit. Marie Callender's presents the Brokeback Burger with the little cartoon Jake Gyllenhaal in a cowboy hat declaring, "I wish I knew how to quit this flavor." That's very good for me. Yeah, I guess we don't know anything else. I already read the CNN article. Niara VT, hello. Thank you for following. How are you doing, Niara? Crochet Whimsy 413. Let's talk about the shit people really want to hear about. I think it's a bad thing that Rouge the Bat's breasts and hips have seemingly shrunk. I have nothing against flat-chested characters. I just think the Rouge change sends a weird message. I agree with, I agree with you. It was a really great, God, I wish I remembered where I read it, but it was a really great assessment of just how frictionless everything is becoming. And I think it was when I was researching this AI thing, where it was somebody assessing how children's media used to be so much darker and weirder, and people used to be able to be real people. It wasn't this kind of like textureless goop, which I think when people criticize children's media as adults, it feels weird, because there are both real things that you can critique about how children are raised and what messages they'll take away from stuff. But the criticisms usually come down to like, oh, two girls kissed. And it's like, man, I don't give a shit. I dislike both people when complain about women's boobs not being big enough and when people make sexualized characters look more childlike. I think, which I agree. But I think what they're probably getting at more is like the desexualization of characters that already aren't over-sexualized. Like, Rouge the Bat is a attractive looking character, but she's not in a bikini. Yeah. Alups, thank you for following. What?
Quote dead domain. Rouge the Bat's an attractive character. Furry!
I'm not a furry. Don't say that about me in public. Yeah, anyway. So I kind of want to, from this article in the Left Voice, why is Mamdani endorsing anti-socialist genocide apologist Hakeem Jeffries? 3D Bob, she's a cartoon. Want her to be sexier? Pick up a pencil. Buddy, have I got some websites for you? Buddy, have I got some websites for you? This happened yesterday. Awesome, Stella. This is an editorial. On Sunday morning, while many were still trying to process the meaning of Mamdani's bizarre visit to the White House, which I would take issue with, it's not a bizarre thing. It's just like a matter of form. Again, go back to what we were talking about. Shell from the Road to El Dorado woke something up in me. Yeah, for me, that was Kira from Atlantis. Go back to what I was talking about at the beginning about how a lot of people, I think, wish for change from within to be a lot easier than it is. But the system doesn't want to change, right? So they are going to continue working the best you can honestly hope for from any political candidate at this point. Working in America is to work towards progressive values, and through that kind of victory, raise awareness of how these policies do tangibly help people. Vesper. In an appearance on Meet the Press, Mamdani was asked, if Democrats win the midterms, do you want to see Hakeem Jeffries become Speaker of the House? To which he quickly and firmly replied, yes. The question was clearly designed to test Mamdani's uncritical loyalty to the Democratic Party, and he did not disappoint, which is in and of itself kind of disappointing to somebody who has been... So the thing is that Mamdani, during his election, did not try to make any more waves than his policies already would. You're talking about somebody who is advocating these policies, who is aligning himself with the DSA, who is going against enough of the grain to at least, breaking so far with the Democratic line to at least acknowledge the genocide in Gaza. And he didn't really do anything else to upset the water. And I think this is why, because ultimately he still understands that he has to work within the system if he wants to fulfill his campaign promises. The problem is that that's fucking disappointing as shit. It is annoying and disappointing to get a shred of any kind of power and still feel like we are forced to respect the politics of, like, that one CNX Tuesday, she was a police commissioner, I think. Yeah, exactly. Tish, yeah. He had Hochul at his last big rally. He knows who he needs to make nice with to make things easy for him and his policies. Yeah. Who is a rabid Zionist genocide, I would go as far as to say, supporter for some of the shit she said. Here we go. The question was clearly designed. Indeed, since being elected, Mamdani, with the tacit support of the DSA, has gone out of his way to protect Democrats like Jeffries from criticisms and political changes to their left, much as other DSA candidates like AOC did before him. But at least AOC waited until after she was sworn in to endorse the anti-abortion apologist Nancy Pelosi for Speaker. Mamdani, on the other hand, seemed to be wasting no time making what he sees as the necessary compromises and unholy alliances need to deliver on the promises he made on the campaign trail. While he has avoided criticizing Jeffries, who tepidly endorsed Mamdani just 4 days before the mayoral elections, this is the first time that he's officially backed him. This is not the first time Mamdani has gone to bat for Jeffries, however. Days before his appearance on Meet the Press, he played a crucial role arguing against Chi Osei's bid to win the endorsement of the DSA for his campaign to unseat Jeffries. And here is the real fucking part that it actually does piss me off. Yeah, Fightin' Hobbit, you bring up the point. There's a very real question that if you replace Hakeem Jeffries, you have to replace him with someone, and we don't really have a list of people we can just drop in. So the problem is, DSA subsequently voted against endorsing Osei, effectively ending his congressional bid and all but guaranteeing that Jeffries will not face a serious primary challenge this coming June. And my question is, why? Had to wait like 30 minutes for you to type. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But thank you, Nyara, for being here. Yeah, he has to be part of the political human centipede to keep his job as a illustrative example, but yeah. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Also, Ayla1870, thank you very much for following. Is it reasonable to say Mamdani will do what it takes to get his policies done? I mean, he's not even in office yet, so I think it is hard to... It's hard to say with any degree of certainty. You know, like, time will tell. Nobody can tell what's going to happen next week. I think there is a reasonable expectation right now that that is the angle he's trying to approach from, though. And the thing I am most critical about, but also very apprehensive about critiquing, is why Osei wasn't, why he wasn't backed by either the DSA or Mamdani himself. The thing, and I've seen a lot of people kind of hand-wringing about this, because you are right, Fightin' Hobbit. If you want somebody to primary Jeffries, you need somebody who can replace him. But the thing I keep coming back to is Mamdani just won a hell of a campaign. A campaign that blew so many fucking people out of the water. It is not, solely based on that, but I do think he has a political acumen and an understanding of political positions. And also utility. Which leads me to believe there are other reasons that Osei wasn't picked. I don't know what that is. I don't know if people will ever know about it. But I can, it's something I can only speculate about right now. Yeah. Fightin' Hobbit, I like Chi Osei, but it's very much a who the hell is Polk moment. Yeah. I would agree with that. His meeting with Trump was a decent strategy. It makes him more receptive. Mamdani is a big step in the right direction. I can't stand Jeffries or Schumer. Yeah. DSA needs to have a position on electoral discipline. I kind of wonder, that's the other thing, is that even if Mamdani didn't come out and explicitly endorse him, Mamdani doesn't fucking own the DSA. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. So, did they say that here? The statement Mamdani made, Ender 9303, wasn't the argument made that the DSA should pick its battles carefully, not waste resources on gambling with potential loud losses? It just sound kind of like they had internal discourse. And that's the other thing, is that Mamdani has been very vocal about, I am here to, I am going to enact the platform I ran on. I'm going to fulfill those promises. Which I think is the right move in a electoralist society. A lot of people don't, I think, want to accept that reality. that to prove the value of your platform, you cannot simply win, you have to enact it. It is not enough. Like, and they point out here, here we go. Jeffries is one of the largest recipients of pro-Israel money in Congress, probably as bad on the question of Palestine as Trump. Meanwhile, he has spent years fighting against DSA candidates in Brooklyn. But Jeffries' anti-socialism is not limited to DSA. He was also one of the supporters and signatories of the recent House bill condemning the so-called horrors of socialism, which was written as an implicit and, frankly, not very subtle condemnation of Mamdani. Like, that is the system working against Mamdani from his own fucking side. It is not enough to simply wear the badge of honor of a DSA endorsement or go by their policies. You need to prove tacitly that those ideas work, that they can make life better, that there are resources that are being swindled away. Yeah, exactly. Ashley Breds, the unfortunate thing is that when you're playing the electoralism game, you got to play all of it. Yeah. Like what? And this gets back to like the Tish thing, is that I don't think somebody like Tish has any place in a fucking civilized society. I'll be so for real. That being said, she does have a place right now as a cog in this much larger machine. So, do people expect Mamdani as also one part of the machine to go in and strip out every single cog? Because we actually just saw, because of Trump, what it looks like when entire apparatuses get stripped of personnel. Shit starts breaking down like immediately. So, okay, what's the alternative? Work slowly, which fucking sucks. But it's what we got. Vox Leona, thank you very much for following. Yeah, and that's the other thing. People bringing this up in chat. Mamdani was a win, but we need dual track work. We need better candidates like Mamdani to reduce harm while building power outside the system. Somebody else said, Namekin for 4411. The thing is, people will try to organize outside of him. That is what you should do. There is not, if Mamdani winning shows anything, it's not that, oh, we're gonna win. It's that we have the potential to fight enough to win. And that people need to understand that power needs to be built over time. It needs to be built within communities. It is not the DSA. It is not the, whatever other splinter groups or Marxist or Maoist or whatever vaguely leftist groups have all of their little tiny doctrinal differences. Because at the end of the day, people don't care if you're able to deliver on making their lives better. Right? And the only way you can fight back against the constant machine, the constant churn of people like Hakeem Jeffries, who have that D next to their fucking names, who are constantly trying to put more progressive policies out of reach of people, who are constantly taking money to aid and abet killing fucking children with American weapons overseas. The only way to do that is to try and concentrate and consolidate power. And that means, like Mamdani is doing, being able to sometimes put aside fucking differences for a greater cause. The point of getting elected is that you just maximally push for everything all at once, it seems. To those folks, having a fight with, say, the NYPD and its union is a win. The problem is, the NYPD is one of the biggest police forces on the fucking planet. The NYPD, here's the other thing. The NYPD is not like a fucking small town police department. Queer cranium. I only vote for the Republicans to keep Democrats to keep Republicans out of office, and that's the problem right now. Is that like with Democrats like these, largest recipients of pro-Israel money, fighting DSA candidates, signing on to the horrors of socialism. Like, and that's our Democrat. So I understand when people get mad about, like, why the fuck is Mamdani not backing a challenger for this kind of piece of shit? Yeah, Mopo with 3210, their response to the pro-Palestine protests showed that NYPD is a small army. Yeah. The NYPD and the LAPD are very similar in that way. The massive amount of resources they have is... I don't think people like really understand the size and scope of their militarization and also their political influence because of that. Which again, like that is something that is so deeply ensconced in especially those cities and those municipal areas, but just the American subconscious, the American government, that like how many generations now have grown up with these increasingly militarized versions of police, right? And people want to believe that, oh, you can just defund that it will be easy to do that over time. It's like, nah. Like, shit is way more complicated than the simplest solutions you can come up with. All right, give me 1 second. Ender, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. Let me... You also deny the most harmful people positions of power. I think that is... Fucking Jesus Christ. Like, what is the... What in... Do they think the Marvel Universe is real? Like, what... Are they fucking fighting dragons in New York? What, does this transform into a fucking Decepticon too? Look at this shit, man. The Chudmobile? Yeah. You know what? That's right. I haven't seen New York Rats. You're right. You're right. Off topic, but also very on topic, was watching the Surfs and learned that the new Dem political org for 2028 is called Deciding to Win. Holy shit, so on the nose. I'm convinced it's a meme. That's so crazy. Lady. Stop it. Fight Hobbit, thank you for 50 bits. This is a project. It's not going to be fast. It's not going to be clean. We won't accomplish anything just rolling in and stripping it for parts. Exactly. It's slow and grinding and tedious because it has to be, and we need to get comfortable with the idea that we will very likely never see societal transformations in our lifetime, but we still have to fight for it. Yeah. Like, that is I think, the... You know, and I almost kind of want to tie it to, and granted, I don't want to pathologize it too much, but I think there is something... There is some kind of connective tissue between the way people want their revolution right now, the way people want their massive world-shifting social change on demand. I think there is something between that and the way that we as Americans, and just in the Western kind of, you know, imperialist sector in general, the way that we value and pride our society on convenience, right? We've constructed so many things around being convenient, around like, I want this, I can have it now. And it's like, okay, but all of the systems that have been put in place to allow that convenience to happen, it's getting into that cognitive dissonance moment. It's like, those are the things also very carefully preventing massive and fast social change. Like all of the surveillance state that has fucking exploded since 2001, since the Patriot Act and the War on Terror and all that shit, that has just kind of gone uncriticized until, Palantir decided to pick up the ranks. Like, that has all been part and parcel in delivering this, this amazing American experiment where we feel so safe. And it's like, okay, but are we really safe, or does the CIA just know everything about your Grindr history? But yeah, anyway, that's why I think no, exactly. Like, my convenience is literally the definition of freedom. I think you kind of saw that a lot when people's fucking brains broke during COVID, where you saw this massive cognitive dissonance, and it was why so many people, isolated, fueled by the internet, fueled by algorithms, were drawn into these conspiracy circles and, the microchip, there's a jab and the microchip in the jab and all that shit, is that you had so many people, for the first tangible time in their life, were being told, hey, you have to prioritize the well-being of others for a couple days. Just stay home, and then you'll get treats afterwards. And the entirety of America, for the most part, went, but I want my goodies now. I want my tasty delights. I need my treats.
Did you say treats?
Yes, I said treats, babe. I love you. Jonafied, thank you for following. And hello, lovely scientist, thank you for following. Yeah, you can't shit without the government knowing what color it is. Yeah, COVID destroyed America's already bad general mental health. I think that was when I really, I think, started noticing this growing disparity in, I mean, it obviously not the first thing. It has been the definition of American freedom being assigned to something like convenience, where people will say oh, this is tyranny, this is a dictatorship, you're telling people to stay home and mask up. And okay, your tax dollars have been used to fund genocides the world over. Do you know where all your tax money is going? How many Republican lawmakers are doing blow off a Grindr stripper's cock tonight? And you want to talk about how asking you to stop the spread of a deadly virus is a conspiracy, right? And I think it fucking broke people's brains. Again, this dissonance between the things that we kind of just assume about the world and the things that we're seeing in front of us versus the things that we're being told about how great and awesome our society is. It's okay, well, what's the point of living in America if I can't go out and get my chicken nuggies? If I can't get my nuggies, obviously we're living in fucking a North Korean dictatorship. What, you're going to tell me I can't go outside and get my nuggies? What is this, China? It's just fucking... Yeah, I think COVID was a more... And even at the time, people were like, damn, this is kind of unprecedented and we don't know how this is going to affect people. But I think the mental effect of COVID on people is going to... it's going to have repercussions for decades. As the kind of sun begins to set, I think, as the sun begins to set on the American empire. Ameliorate Gray, the dark realization of realizing other countries had the outbreak contained within weeks, but America never was able to get that shit down pat. Yeah, that was the craziest stuff. Was just, looking at other people being what the fuck do you mean they have it? They figured it out and have it shut down. My ex-wife was a substitute teacher, not a substitute teacher, was an English teacher over in France briefly. Lady, what are you doing? um, was a English teacher briefly over in France, and it was during COVID. And so it was like, okay, everybody's masking up, and there's a curfew, and there's all this stuff. And for like, which kind of sucks, she was there for 4 or 5 months, and for like 2 of it, wasn't able to go anywhere or do much of anything. But kept down the COVID rates. You didn't have fucking hordes of dumbasses just being like, no, this is, I was sick with the flu once. Like, really sick with the flu. And wore a mask to an Iron Maiden concert for my birthday 3-4 years ago. And this jackass in front of me, because it was slightly after COVID. It was like a year after COVID lockdowns. And this jackass in front of me had to take it out of his day to turn around and tell me, like, you don't need masks anymore, right? And I wanted to fucking cough on him so bad. Double Trigger 666, thank you very much for following. Fight Hobbit, thank you very much for 50 bits. COVID was the dumbest apocalypse. I was promised zombies. I felt like I was promised a trip to Disneyland, got a trip to the dentist instead. So one of the things that I've kind of been digging into in my little philosophy quest has been, what the fuck was it called? It's one of the Mark Fisher things. No, it wasn't Mark Fisher. It was if Rose is still in the chat, she'll probably know. It was Derrida, the fucking historiography, whatever the fuck it is. Mager, thank you very much for $5. All right, let me. I'll do Solid Snake for this. The year is 2026. You sit on your AI auto bidet. Anomaly in rectal diameter detected. Service terminated. And then distant klaxons. Historiography, yes, thank you very much. Which is this kind of like, from my understanding of it so far, because I haven't dug fully deep into like Derrida's writings on it, but is this kind of notion of keeping in mind an idea of the history we were promised, or that we perceive to have been promised. And I'm sure that there is a ton of other shit that you can go into, like Adorno, Horkheimer, DeBard, and Baudrillard, and all them cats. With like the way that we perceive simulacra and all that shit. And I'm thinking about that a lot in terms of like AI, where when you think about, we have all of these things, again, society is so complicated at this point, where we are given a constant slew of images, right? QAnon Anonymous guy sneak in. Do we have one of the Q guys in here? You do a great Solid Snake, thank you. I forgot what I was saying. But we like, AI is one of the great examples where we perceive, like, people have watched so many movies, so many TV shows, even things that you don't. And I kind of talk about this in Nostalgia, is like art that has been disambiguated from its original form so that you just get the like the silhouette of it. So things like, Aliens, people only understanding what a xenomorph is through t-shirts and Fortnite collabs and, little golden books, and never actually having watched the movies, right? And I think that is kind of part and parcel with AI and this historiography, where you have these ideas that have been passed down through society of what AI is, what it looks like, how people are going to be, and it's been decades and decades of science fiction and film and everything from, fucking Bicentennial Man to, that was a deep pull. I don't know where that came from. Bicentennial Man to Terminator to Blade Runner to all these other things that we internalize as the real life potential and possibility of what AI can be. But what it would actually be, and this is the problem with so much of what Elon Musk does, is that so much of his shit is just based on recreating this hypothetical future which just comes down to like basically recreating special effects, recreating shadow tricks to fool people. And you see this with like the Optimus thing, where like that Optimus shit, it's not unmanned. It is literally all smoke and mirrors. It is some fucking Wizard of Oz shit, to use a cultural touchstone for my conversation about cultural touchstones. I don't know. It's stuff like that I think about also in terms of when we think of like society collapsing or crumbling or an apocalypse, our touchstones are the fantasies we've constructed. And sometimes those fantasies, they can be very dire, they can be very dark, they can be meant to explore other facets of the human psyche or the way that we feel about society right now. And you see that with like the original, hell, all the Mad Max movies. You see that with things like Cormac McCarthy books and The Road and stuff like that. But the more in our kind of capitalist hyper-realism, it is those more fun aspects, like I was talking about, from things like Fallout or, whatever else gets, turned into movies or TV shows or video games or places that we can explore. That we internalize as like, this is what the apocalypse will be like. And I think that is where you get a lot of people. Oh, do I not get? What are you doing?
I'm gonna go to the thing and grab the thing for the thing later.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna miss you so many.
I'll be back. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Do you want to give me a smooch?
Do you want to? Do you want to?
Do you want to give me? I mean, you can give me a smooch on camera. It's fine.
Love you.
I love you. I have no mouth and I must scream. That's a. You know what? That's even better. I was thinking movies. But I have no mouth. I would put that with like Shodan too. Billionaires lack imagination. Absolutely. Hey, liberal, shut up. Fascism is fucking cool because the Jinro mask is sick. I was working on it. I ended up not doing the full video, which bummed me because I had some fun observations. But I was working on an essay on that I was calling the aesthetics of faceless fascism, which was all about like kind of digging into like, why do so many like accounts on Twitter and people in internet forums and stuff who are advocating these open fascist ideals, why are they so into being these completely faceless, blend into the crowd archetypes, whether it's, Space Marines, stormtroopers from Star Wars, whether it's being literal Nazi stormtroopers or being crusaders or whatever. Like, why are there so many people who want to be a faceless cog in a massive imperialist machine? And I think, again, it comes down to these ideas of like the things that we internalize from this media and the way that it informs our worldview. Yeah. Did I see a new trailer for the Gore Verbinski movie? Maybe. I saw the trailer for the new Sam Raimi movie. I watched, it's about fighting AI. Predator Badlands yesterday. Did I watch Predator 2 days ago? Monday. Yeah, I watched Predator Badlands 2 days ago, but I was really high accidentally. Whoops. What? And I did, Disthrone. I did see the trailer for the new Sam Raimi movie, and I was like, I'm gonna be so for real. I'm not sure what happened in Predator Badlands, but it was great. It was fucking rad. Like I got 20 minutes into it, and the edible really fucking started to kick, and I was like, this shit whips, dog. This fucking is so rad. Two fucking Yautja just sword fighting. Oh, it's really great shit. But yeah. Is this the first you're hearing of Predator Badlands or the new Sam Raimi movie? Well, yeah, Paige Wilder, OW. That's kind of the historiography thing I'm talking about, where it's every tech bro be lifting the dumbest parts of fiction that were supposed to be symbols of what not to do. It's because I think it also ties into the ongoing process of, and this is something I just wrote about extensively for the AI piece I'm working on, and shitification, where you're reaching this apex point of innovation, or it's not really innovation at this point. We've reached a point of iteration where it's just going to be different permutations on the same shit. Like it is, we are so far past a point of like, you know, here, oh, look, this phone can do 3D graphics now. It's like, okay, you can fucking play any game on your phone at this point. Like, how impressive is that? So we just need to keep iterating because we have created this system to facilitate that iteration. We've reached the end point of that iteration, but the system still needs to justify its existence, right? We still need to have things for shareholders and boardrooms and stocks to go up and down and all that shit. Wow. I love you. Have fun.
I'll be back.
Okay. I will probably be at movies at 4:45. So.
Okay. Hell yeah. Love you.
Love you. Have fun. Jay the Cryptid, thank you for $5. I assumed it was because anonymity gives a sense of power / security, and being part of a larger camaraderie fueled group can give structure / purpose. I think that is the like line that they're buying into. I think that you see that when people are like, oh, this is my, you know, like when people really LARP into that shit, I think there is an aspect of that kind of camaraderie. But it's so at odds. The thing I think it's most at odds with is the way that you will see those same accounts who LARP as these, you know, massive, like legions of faceless goons, Space Marines being a great example, where then they will turn around and on those same Twitter profiles call all liberals NPCs, and they all have blue hair and they all get the COVID jab and they just care about the current thing that the media tells them. But then they are also like LARPing as somebody with no distinguishing characteristics. And so it's this kind of like fascinating, it's that fascinating dichotomy you get from authoritarianism, where the outgroup is at once overwhelmingly powerful and needs to be crushed, but also we can crush them easily because we're super Chad bros and awesome. Yeah, I think there's, you know, again, not to psychoanalyze it too much, but definitely also some self-loathing and wanting that loss of identity. Probably. That's not enshittification. Enshittification is the neutering of capabilities / services in products to increase shareholder value. No, I know that. What I'm saying is that that ties into this endless churn of iteration without any innovation, where you are having, like, if you ever go and look at why, or like when there's a new fucking update on Google or some shit, right? Is that it is for, oh, we made this easier. But really what it probably is like, they'll be able to pump in more ads. They'll be able to, YouTube has had a fucking massive problem with this recently because, god damn it, the ads are everywhere. You can't get away from it. I hate it so much. Like multiple fucking times. Yeah, an entropy event. The classic example would be Google search. It isn't marginally iterated to make it stand out. It gives you more and worse results because that means more ads and click through. And I think like the way Google search is another great example of the way AI is just aiding in shitification, where it's like that shit has been forced in. Nobody is allowing AI into our lives. It is being forced into our lives. It is being normalized without our real approval or consent in any way, and in ways that I guarantee we will not know about for a while. My dad's understanding of AI has made him dumb to the point where he thinks sci-fi hasn't inspired in real-life technology. Have you seen Jaden's recent 15-minute complaint video? Jaden who? Yeah, I hate how the first result I get for searches is an AI overview. B Parker 1740, just constant ads, usually for shit you specifically block. The amount of AI ads, like AI created, driven, voiced ads on YouTube right now, infuriating. Infuriating. Oh, Jaden Animations. Yes. Why do I? Jaden Animations. What has Jaden Animations done? No, like, Castellan Doug reference. Hadoop reference. I'm so tired of AI shoved in everything. One of the fucking I feel like I'm gonna have an aneurysm every time I hear the ad. But one of the advertisements I keep getting watching YouTube is for a fridge with smart AI technology. So you don't have to open your fridge. The AI will just tell you what's in the fridge. And it's like, it's a perfect encapsulation of like, how does that tangibly help us as a person? How does that do anything other than make you stupider or make you lazier for convenience? This isn't a fucking car, right? This isn't like, oh, damn, like now you can get places that would have taken days to go on horse in just a couple hours. It's like you are now just asking a computer to make the simple motion of opening up and looking at what's inside of something. Yeah, anyway. Oh, also, Blackheart Sora, good to see you. AI is one of the main reasons no one's buying COD this year or refunding it too. Yeah, I'll be so for real. I saw that fucking, the AI slop for those. I was tentatively interested, because I don't know, I just still have that little dopamine hit I like from Black Ops. Or from just Call of Duty in general, just, you know, running, gunning, shooting, seeing the new maps and all that shit. I like it a little bit, but seeing the AI used for the name cards and then seeing the just stupid dog shit campaign. Yeah, no, exactly. Anbury, AI isn't making money, and as AI expand, it costs more and more, but companies think there will be a first when AI strikes gold, which it won't. The problem, yeah, this is a massive problem with the AI bubble, is that everybody is kind of using it. It's why there's AI in so much shit, is because nobody has a firm use case for it. Nobody knows for sure, like, hey, yes, we can use this for special effects, because even though you will see 1,000 tech demos and so many people on Twitter being like, this is going to be the future of movie making, it still just looks like shit. And you still need to. One of the great reminders of this recently was, so a couple months ago, there was a Papajayo, there were calling cards or name cards, like the unlockable name cards you get in multiplayer. A bunch of them were made with AI, like very obviously. What was the one? Oh yeah, no. So a couple months ago, there was that first person. It wasn't a demo. It was just a fucking AI pixel art video of like, this is what video games can look like with AI, and so many people were fucking busting over it. And it's just, no, it's just a, like, your fucking AI sucked up 100 hours of every Elder Scrolls and popped out something with a pixel filter. And today I saw that same dude being like, people say that, you know, AI can't do anything, but with a talented team of artists, we're bringing this vision to life. And it's like, it was something that actual artists and developers went and engineered to emulate the AI video that was emulating something else. And it's like, you are a perfect example of why AI doesn't work in a creative capacity, because it isn't able to deliver a full product. It is able to scrub other people's shit. And then he was, talking in chat like, oh yeah, no, actually we used it for inspiration and this stuff. And it's like, then you could have just skipped that part and created it yourself. Like, it's so fucking frustrating. Rachel Skywalker 32, thank you for 13 months. Hey DD, 13 months, holy shit. Didn't realize it's been over a year. Sorry, I've missed some streams lately, but I'm glad you're still around doing a great job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Also, Tim and Daisy, thank you for following. The only thing AI should be used for in gaming is for NPCs or maybe map design. Like, there are uses of this kind of procedural generation, but it is in things that are either intensely computational and time consuming. So like, I'm sure there will be numbers and bookkeeping jobs that would be much easier if AI did it. And yeah, it is going to be things like actual AI in like video games and shit. But the problem is that so many people are jerking off over the possibility of there being this massive AI space race, this massive new Cold War, that they are skipping over the actual practical applications AI and this technology will probably have, and going, this is going to change everything. This is going to be like Web 3.0. This is going to be like the new internet or cell phones. And they don't know how. They're just assuming it will be. It's fucking, yeah. Oh yeah, no, just to be here 409, a large part of my video, and I will fully admit that this is, there are going to be people who are like, well, this is reactionary, or this is not, whatever. Or it's an emotional argument is what I'm sure some people will say. But it's like, yeah, I am going to resort to emotional arguments when talking about how AI cannot be used to create good art, and how, in fact, using AI as a crutch to create art is like a spit in the face to thousands of years of humanity. Because I am not going to... Well, so the problem, they call it neo-Luddism. The problem is that, like, to call somebody a Luddite, or to call somebody like reactionary for this kind of thing, being against generative AI in the context it's being used now, is that you would have to be against progress. You would have to be saying that, like, not necessarily, but I think a lot of people, when you say that kind of thing, they are hearing that, oh, you just don't like progress. You just think everything new is bad. And it's like, no. The problem is that AI is not allowing us to progress in any tangible way. In fact, in most respects, it's dragging us further backwards. Like, part of that, and this goes into, again, oh yeah, Awesome Stella, I saw that. Thank you very much. And Melody Queen, I will get to that in a second. Part of that is, again, this kind of society that we've enacted around AI, of which AI and the shit around it is really just taking advantage of these structures that we already have. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with that. God damn it! Oh! Melody Queen 6432, thank you for $10. DSA and Zoran want to challenge Hochul next year. Either her or Jeffries is a hard wraith. Both impossible. DSA sees getting governor for Zoran to deliver on promises is more important than a new speaker. And see, I think that's kind of like... I think that outlook, this kind of long game, is what Mamdani should be focused on, rightly so. Okay, no. Luddites were not against technology or progress. King Lud was a rallying symbol to get angry farmers united against textile mills killing their wives. I meant less specifically the term Luddite, and more specifically calling people reactionaries. I've had people call me reactionary for my opinions on AI. Brian Walsh 9540, thank you for another $5. El Salvi, oh hi. Bad Empanada made a video accusing you of being a Zionist. I'm confused. He also admits to not watching all of your anti-Semitism, dog. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I don't really care what Bad Empanada says. Like that's for real. I feel I have said enough. He is taking a video that I told him on Twitter, and I'm assuming he's aware of, that I don't fully agree with all the things I said there. I have taken it down because of the shit that I'm getting thrown at me over it. But if I made that video today, it would be very different. I don't agree with the things that I said about Israel because I have been further educated on the topic, and I've educated myself further on the struggles of the Palestinian people and the settler colonial state. Which are things that I told Bad Empanada, but he doesn't really give a shit, and it doesn't surprise me that he didn't watch the full video because I think watching the whole thing might have made him look not so great. I haven't watched his video on it, but I don't really care to, if I'm being real. You're good. We're cool. You just triggered my special interest card, so I went off about worker struggle history for a sec. No, I love that more. Do you have Petals and Gems, actually? Because I've wanted to do some reading on the Luddites for a while. Do you have, like, a good book or anything I could look into? Yeah, I took down the anti-Semitism documentary. I think I might try and cut out the last couple bits. But people, yeah, you can go into my comments and stuff on a bunch of other videos where I've been getting a lot of people just calling me like a liberal Zionist doing genocide apologies, which, like, I've done a number of videos talking about Palestine, talking about Gaza, talking about the genocide, critiquing people who try and whitewash it. I have specifically said many times on stream, I have constantly called it a genocide. Like, it's, but the only thing I can really say is that people like Bad Empanada and people who do not want to, I guess, allow, not that it's up to them, but like say that I grew in the last 2 years, that I have a different opinion on something, they don't actually want that improvement. If they did, me saying, hey, yes. Like, if they did, they would send me further reading on it. But nobody is. What they're doing is calling me a baby-killing liberal Zionist. So I can't help but book rec, Brian Merchant, Blood in the Machine. Okay, hang on. I'm going to look that up really quick. The Origins of the Rebellion Against Big Tech. Ooh, hell yeah. I might get that hardcover. No. That's $3 on Kindle. I just don't like reading Kindle. Yeah. What did I say in that vid? If I'm remembering right, I honestly, I don't remember entirely because I haven't watched the video in over 2 years. Yeah, also Bloody Bone Witch. People should really need to stop going. You should look at what bad faith actors said about you. No one cares. It's one of those things that I thought about, like, oh, maybe I'll do a response, or maybe I'll watch. It's like, I don't really fucking care that much. Really. Like, I have more important shit to worry about. I want to fucking, oh, yeah, I have had that happen, Disthrone, too. I bought a textbook on Kindle and the formatting was all, I've had that, too. Like, I don't want to get, I have other fucking videos to write. I have a bunch of stuff. Like I was talking about, I had an interview with American McGee yesterday for a video that I'm still writing and still working on, that I'm reading stuff and researching stuff to still do. Same with the Destiny piece. Same with fucking, like, I need to go bother her about it again, but I had an interview lined up with Damage. People that for months have been saying, oh my gosh, Vesper, you gotta check out Damage. You gotta go like talk to Damage, see if you can get them on a stream, get her to do an interview or something. And so I've been talking with Damage a little bit in Instagram DMs, and I think she just forgot that we were supposed to have an interview yesterday. But like that's one of those things. So if Raven Payne 87, I can't recall ever hearing you say anything that comes close to Zionism apologia. Admitting that there's been an uptick in anti-Semitism is not Zionist talking point, so I don't care what they could be saying. If I am remembering and seeing what people have said, just from like parsing together comments I've received, I think it has to do with me, and I should have worded this differently, because the video on the history of anti-Semitism ends with a chapter on Gaza where I believe I called it a genocide, but B, basically expressed the idea in a very poor way that I don't think the Israelis there should all be killed and murdered, which isn't something, I still don't believe that, but the way I phrased it, I believe, had more to do with something like, you know, they have a right to exist or something, which is a Zionist fucking dog whistle. The problem is, I don't believe that. It is it's a settler state that is built on the bones of an entirely different culture. That being said, I don't want everybody there fucking massacred over it. But no, yeah, it was something that I know he knows was greatly taken out of context. And the fact that he didn't even watch the full video, like what do you how am I going to respond to that? But anyway, I don't want to talk anymore about Bad and Panana. Just like the Reddit tankies who called Robert Evans a neolib. Yeah. That's as much as I would love to compare myself to Robert Evans, but yeah, that sounds like a good analog. What else were we talking about? God, we went on a fucking tangent. What else did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about the Trump EPA rollbacks. Nobody ever talks about these. Also, there was an FDA asbestos thing. FDA asbestos. One of the funniest parts about my chat with American McGee yesterday was how he was like, I don't know how you fucking do it over in America. Because, like, I feel like every time I see news out of America, it's just the most insane shit. And I'm like, yep. Yeah, here we go. It's stuff like this. This was specifically one of the stories we talked about. Cash Patel, that's right. Thank you. I can't actually see the title of my stream right now. Why? What is this fucking picture? Why does he look like he's on, like, Extreme Home Makeover? What? I have never seen that man smile. What the fuck? That's crazy. Is McGee really a pirate? I don't know about a pirate. Post mushroom report. Oh yeah. Off topic, but becoming more far left has made me happier in the long run, to quote Che Guevara. I think there is a level of, and thank you, Miss Genderlin, or misanthropic. There's a level of zen that comes, I think, with being more critical of society. Like I think it can make a lot of people very cynical. I think it can detach you from the world around you. But I think being able to criticize and realize how structures are affecting you, I think it allows people, especially in this, where we're surrounded by, not to fucking resonate on it too much, but the simulacra constantly. And being able to, and I think it is, I've talked about it many times, it is driving us all a little bit crazy. But I think being able to parse that, it is, I think it does a lot for stress, honestly. Yeah. Heavily photoshopped cat. Cash when the fajitas come out sizzling. Yeah. White House denies report of Trump considering removing FBI director. So the thing, I think there's probably some mumblings within the admin of getting him fucking out of there, because he has been, but between the Charlie Kirk thing, like, Kash Patel is quickly rivaling Jen Psaki and Pam Bondi for the most controversial falling ass backwards into bullshit in the administration, which is it's a contentious category. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stiff competition. But he's been, between the Charlie Kirk mishandling, right after that, bizarre bungling of reporting on Antifa shooters and all that shit, the recent revelations that he has used government funds and private jets to fly out to see his country star girlfriend. It just wild. Worse than Hegseth. I think Hegseth mostly just gets drunk in his office all day. That's, I think Kash Patel is out there living the high life, right? He is out there fucking doing it up nice style, singing in his own car about how he wants to be a baller shot caller. Best I can do is article by Stephen J. Paulus, The Hell That Bigots Frame. Hell yeah. I just found it on JSTOR. I will try and find it. Tex-Mex food and Mexicans. What does country star mean? Country music star. Based Alaskan, thank you for following. You're not baked Alaska, are you? That would be fucking nuts. Oh man, Ameliorate Gray. I haven't thought about Creflo Dollar for a while. How the fuck, God, did we have such a America is just such a society that we ever had a profitable evangelical preacher whose last name was Dollar. It's just that fucking scene from Bumblebee where John Cena is incredulously looking around the room they call themselves Decepticons. Does that not fucking raise any warning bells? Um, Drax's Storm Scale, have a good time. I might be gone in an hour just because I have a date in an hour, roughly. Eddie Money Mist is calling. Money and Dollar would be very funny as a tag team duo. All right. Epstein files were kept. Epstein estate says, Jesus Christ, I can't read all of a sudden. Epstein estate slams Keystone Cash's claims docs were kept from FBI. The way this Daily Beast headline is written sounds like something a like newsboy in 1910 would say on the street. Extra, extra, Epstein estate slams Keystone Cash's claims. Docs were kept from the FBI. Read all about it. Oh, fuck you. Come on, Daily Beast. That fucking picture is so funny. Man. It really is when them fajitas come out sizzling. That's so funny to me. All right, so this was today. Thomas Massey, who spearheaded the petition that led to the House vote on the full release of the Epstein investigation, accused Cash Patel of a troubling deflection when answering whether the administration would meet its 30-day deadline to make them public. Massey was reacting to an interview with Patel by Catherine Herridge, who asked him directly if the FBI would meet the deadline. Patel said they are committed to producing what they could, quote, lawfully, legally produce, and cited court orders that prohibit the disclosure of information. So, that's just... I feel like that is just a confirmation of what we all kind of know. Modern Family photo shoot, yeah. Well, we all kind of know in that things are going to probably show up redacted from the Epstein files and shit. I am actually kind of excited, though, because snow is about to fall. This is completely unrelated, but snow is about to fall, and I've been wanting to do my Black Cat cosplay for a year, and now I got done with the Rouge the Bat cosplay, and I wanted to do Black Cat over the summer, but I didn't get to it, and so now I've kind of been waiting for snowfall because I think it'll be really stark and striking. Well, and I'm specifically doing like kind of a femboy version of Black Cat. Felix from... God, what is their... Fitty Vidal. Fiti Vidal. Go like and follow their shit on Twitter. They're great. See if I can find it really quick. Fitty... Yep. Levidu99, Levidu99 on Twitter. They have really great shit. Magnus Machina? You don't get snow in early November? Nope, not here. At least, hey, not this year. Yeah, like did y'all not? I guess I gotta show cosplays again. It's so funny how I guess people don't know. Yeah, I know, Trans Raider. It started snowing. My partner and I were watching the snow, and we're like, ooh. Yeah, here's some of the Rouge pictures. These were just some. God, I barely posted any of my Rouge the Bat pictures on here, I guess. Huh. Damn, I need to post more Insta. Maybe I'll post more. Well, and so the other thing is that recently, also because of Throne, I've had Kenny Wilson, 1864. Thank you for following. I've had a lot of like new lingerie and stuff, and I need to take pictures in it. So I am starting to, because God, I'm so bad at updating my OnlyFans. I'm terrible at it, and I feel really bad. So I'm going to try and do a big stock up. I can't find your Instagram to save my life. Dog plant. Oh, it was from Magic the Gathering. I mean, that's basically what I do with OnlyFans. I sell pictures. The recent, yeah, I did stand up for a while. The recent bulge pick that went kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it went kind of nuts on Twitter. I think saw a slight bump, so to speak, for my OnlyFans. Throne is a website that I have a wish list on. So if somebody wants to get me gifts, right now it's some of it is like just completely, if you want to get me something nice for Christmas or whatever, it's on there. But it's mostly for if people want to help me upgrade my equipment. Excuse me. So like recently, I have a new computer. I am waiting on the keyboard. Somebody helped me upgrade with these headphones and the keyboard and mouse and all that stuff. So, and I still have some stuff on there, like a new camera, like a proper 4K 60 camera, a proper like lighting setup and shit like that. Boo. Slight bump. That was a hill. I mean, the growth on OnlyFans was a bump, so to speak. Hell yeah, misanthropic. Hell yeah. My Instagram has gone in weird ways. Plus size models and anti-fascists. Ooh. Okay, so what you're saying is you have the golden algorithm. Okay, well, you don't need to brag about it to everybody else. Damn. Also, I'm very excited. If somebody wants to link that, I've been kind of looking forward to the Riverboat Jack and her partner's trans femme lingerie line. I saw a keyboard I thought was stupid looking online. I saw it in person. I had to have it. It's one of those. Got the old-fashioned typewriter-looking keys. I fished one of those out of a dumpster for my partner. Yeah, I know those. They're very nice. They're clicky. Two hands, one heart. I was starting to follow your channel, but knowing you do psychedelics has made me lose faith in your analysis of anything to be correct. Why? That is such a weird line to draw. Also, me doing mushrooms, I did mushrooms one time. And it was not a high dose by any stretch. And that one time was Sunday night, yeah. That is such a... I'm more fascinated by that than like offended or anything. That is just such a weird, arbitrary line to draw. What was it like? It was weird. And I don't think I didn't really get the psychedelic experience. Like I was kind of expecting more in the way of actual hallucinations and stuff, and that didn't really happen. And Yeah, also Mr. Chuck Grape, smart people famously never done psychedelics. Um, I know, Carnell, I need to change that. I was just thinking about that. Like I've done people think any amount of drugs permanent. It quite literally damages your brain physically. Not enough to like alter my cognitive abilities at a relatively low dose. I'm not taking experimental research chemicals and going out and taking rave drugs every night. I did some psilocybin, like, yeah, it. I don't know. DHT. See, I'm not down with like DMT, MDMA, any of that shit. I don't. Yeah. It was though to I guess to get back to like my experience on it. What was my setting? I had a really great setting. I had my partner and we had planned on it for kind of a week. Yeah, any drug can damage your brain at high enough dose. I didn't have a very high dose, is the thing. It it was really actually really sweet, because it was just kind of a really good connective moment for me and my partner where we were both relatively high and just kind of sat there snuggling for a long time and talking. I don't remember what we were talking about. But just like it wasn't, I didn't get like visual hallucinations, but I did get like sensational hallucinations. If that makes sense. I'm sure people who've done more drugs will know. And well, okay, so Directive 4, mushrooms are more about ego death, are they? I think they can be. Yes, but the damage from you mean psychotics. It's so intense that you temporarily experience hallucinations. It's obviously way worse than other mind-altering chemicals. I mean, like, I'm not saying it's on the level of weed, but also I've done it once. I'm not doing it again anytime soon because you're not supposed to, like, do it constantly. But yeah, I'm also not going to go through life having not, like, lived life. Like, it's not, I don't know, it's not ecstasy, you know? It's fucking mushrooms. I don't know. I don't know. It's psychedelics. God, yeah. No, you know what? My brain has been completely fried. You're right. You're right. Mushrooms or any drugs, but any knowledge gained from psychedelics is nonsense. It should be. I mean, like, I'm not saying I learned anything. Like, I didn't, you know, like, I would actually kind of agree with you. We just looked at the Tucker Carlson video a little while ago of a dude who was talking about how, like, oh, you know, all these sorry, I'm just going into my Tucker Carlson voice. All of these Silicon Valley, and they'll talk about going and seeing these, you know, demons, and it makes me think that drugs might be some kind of gateway to a more spiritual dimension and like shit like that. And it's like, nah, like I feel like you have to keep it in check, but like it was a sensational experience, in that like it had more to do with sensation and thought than like I didn't experience. So one of the other things I've been kind of looking at, as part of my research into Destiny was the infamous kind of mushroom trip he took, and he took way too much and had a very public I want to say crash out, but had a very public experience. And I think he definitely experienced ego death. I didn't experience that at all. It was actually it was a very nice, calming experience. I felt so connected to my partner. I did not see, like, you know, the curvature of time, or I didn't look into the fourth dimension. I didn't see any space whales or anything like that. It was just very nice. Like that's kind of the big big thing. What is ego supposed to feel like? I can only speculate on it, but I think it is. It reminds me of the same thing I was. Like I think of both Destiny, but I think of Brianna Wu's story about a ketamine trip or being in a K-hole where she fucking realized that she hated herself and all of this shit. And I'm just like, I think it is a easy way to pathologize coming to terms with things that you don't like about yourself. Stripping away all of the edifice of like the things that we tell ourselves to keep going during the day, all the cognitive dissonance, and confronting your truest, innermost like drives. And I think for a lot of people that can be a rough journey. I think that's like what a lot of people associate with eco death. Did it allow you to look inward and examine own perceptions of reality? I don't really remember any of that. No. Yeah, Brutus Magnuson caused me to confront my feelings about my divorce. It felt oddly bittersweet in a beautiful way. There is that kind of like. I did have that a little bit because I've been going through some stuff recently, and I stopped. So I guess one small development recently is I've stopped drinking altogether. I don't want to get too far into explaining it, but I have been drinking to cope and been drinking as a crutch for a couple months now. And it's not it didn't get bad enough that I am now facing like the heavy withdrawal symptoms I've seen some people talk about, but I am definitely feeling some kind of way. Like I definitely yesterday, I got some kind of rough news and I was like, I'm going to go have a drink about this. And I didn't. And I think that like, I've also been going through kind of like headache withdrawals and stuff. So I think it is at a good point. I mean, would have been a great point to not begin, but at a good point to nip it in the bud before it very obviously becomes much more of a problem. And yeah, I think there's been along with that, there was this kind of confrontation of like why I was trying to cope and why I was doing that kind of thing. Yeah, I just straight up did not like the person I was becoming. That's a great example. That shit spills out in unpredictable ways. Yeah. Drinking is actually so hard to cut back on, especially this year with all the shit going on. That has been me. Like, it has been very hard to do, and it's even harder because through Koa's work, they get free alcohol. And so it's been really easy to try and just tune out. And I think I think it has affected my my work and my output, and I think completely getting off of that, along with eating better food and stuff again, will help that. Raven Payne, I haven't been allowed to smoke weed for like 3 months now. I have dreams that I'm about to smoke and then remind myself that I'm going to have to take a drug test the next day. It sucks being a trans woman in Ohio. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry about that. I watched alcohol kill my old man, watched him crawl into a whiskey bottle, and never let it. I make a point to be a teetotaler. I think I'm getting to that point because I have a family history of addiction. on my dad's side, which was the side I didn't really grow up knowing. And I just, also being ADHD, somebody asked earlier how I feel about ADD. I'm ADHD as fuck. I have been my entire life. And I have been trying to, so we're not crapping on shrooms, but we're crapping on alcohol. I'm not crapping on alcohol. I don't care if somebody wants to drink. I'm just talking about my personal experience and like a kind of realization I was led to on shrooms. I don't drink or do any kind of drugs. I think it makes me a man-child, and maybe why I get zero bitches. Thoughts? No. Like, if somebody tries to make you feel bad for not drinking, whatever your reason is, like, don't fucking engage with them. Straight up. Like, if somebody is trying to, like, pressure you into drinking and they don't think you're cool because you don't want to drink or because you don't do a drug or something, they're not fucking worth the time. Like, that is such a completely arbitrary, stupid thing. If anybody's judging you for that, like, fuck them. Fuck off. Yeah. Speaking out about addiction is not saying that people can't. It's a totally different scenario. Yeah, like I'm not. It's one of those weird things where I don't want to be like, because I feel like it's almost stolen valor to be like, oh, I'm in recovery, because I'm not. Especially having seen what things do to other people, but I am. I would say, let's say I'm on a self-improvement arc. Yeah, no, gay asparagus. I like a Jack and Coke. Gray Yadv, thank you very much for 10 euros. Doing my usual jumping in to say hi and bye, so I will catch up with the VOD. Wishing you all the best with stopping drinking. I've been there. It's tough, but you're tougher. Thank you very much. I think the more frustrating and I guess worrying part is how I'm noticing the want of drinking. How I'm noticing how badly I want to do it. And that's the part that's like, okay, no, it's an actual problem. Or it was an actual problem. Yeah. Anyway. Fighting Hobbit, thank you very much for 50 bits. The best way I've heard... every now and again, I enjoy an ice cream cone. The problem is I can't just have one ice cream cone. I'll wind up having 10 of them. Yeah. Like, it's kind of like that. I just... and like, hey, I'm not saying I will never drink again, but I'm saying right now I am completely laying off alcohol because I just don't like how easily I've slipped into using it as a coping mechanism and has started to actually affect in me. But I'll tell you what, after the mushroom high, I felt great. Like, I really felt... Okay, I need to feed my cat really quick. I'm sure all of you can hear her. Why are you yelling? Huh? All right, I'll be right back, chat. Yeah. I have to go get more food. Don't I? Yeah. Here you go. Meow. Yeah, I just like psychedelics helping people recover from their addictions, mushroom, well, alcoholism. I just felt good, you know, like coming out of the mushroom trip, like it was so, and again, it's so much of it had to do with my partner being a wonderful trip sitter and like watching me carefully, being more experienced in this stuff than I am, and the fact that like we didn't like do anything, so I didn't feel any additional pressure, like, oh no, we're going out in the woods or any of that shit. We just kind of sat in bed and talked and felt really connected, and quite literally, like I one of the sensation, I guess sensation hallucinations, like a touch hallucination, I distinctly remember, like a feeling of literally I'm holding them in my arms and I feel like I am like weaving into them, like this feeling of being entwined and tangled together like growing roots was fucking wild, and that was cool. But it was very much, it would, like, I am not the chatter who was in here earlier talking about like knowledge I had gleaned, is like there was nothing I like learned. I did not, you know, talk to a space dragon and come away knowing some grand secret about the universe or anything. And I think I am far too analytical that even if I were to have a audio visual hallucination, if I were to have that kind of thing, I would wake up or I would come out of it, and if I remembered it, I would be like, yeah, that was my brain, that was my mind. Like I'm not gonna be like a Tucker Carlson putting stock in it being like, well, obviously this is you know, a doorway to the spiritual realm, like that kind of shit, whatever. At home and just chilling is the best way to do it. Yeah. Oh, I did. Oh man, I did walk outside briefly for like 20 minutes. You talking about that. So we ordered pizza because we were like, damn, you know what? Pizza sounds kind of fucking goated right now. And I was like, yeah, pizza does sound kind of goated. And I waited outside for 20 minutes. And let me tell you, it's the sense thing that I really appreciate, where you become fixated on. It's the same reason why I've kind of liked, like, to chill probably once or twice a week. No, not twice, but probably once or so a week. Maybe because I'm not like a huge stoner or everything, but my partner and I'll get high and I'll play video games or something while they play video games in bed. And it has allowed me to really engage with games in a way I haven't in years, which is to just like appreciate them. This is another thing I was talking about with American McGee, where we were talking about like asset tourism, where, you know, you spend so little time walking through environments and seeing these assets that have cost tens of thousands of dollars to engineer and to make into place, and you just don't really look at anything around you. And being high, like having that like fixation in my brain, shrooms did the same thing, where I was just like kind of standing outside on the street corner and just looking up at the sky and looking around and just kind of being like, damn, this existence thing is kind of goated. Like, not gonna lie, this is kind of nice with it. And like it's just one of those things where you feel the cold air on your skin, and you appreciate the sound of the city moving around you, and how everything is kind of interlinked and connected. And I don't know, you can't, the problem is you can't really talk about any of these sensations without sounding like a insane hippie, right? Fighting Hobbit, thank you very much for 47. Did mushrooms precisely one time. The problem is that I'm a literal hobbit, 5 foot nothing, 100 and sponge soaking wet. So I grossly overestimate my tolerance. Woof. Woof. Didn't unravel the secrets of the universe. Wound up falling in love with an anime girl. It didn't work between us, sadly. Respect. Respect. My friend who's going to be my trip sitter when I eventually do something recently tried mushrooms, took one, another, no reaction, 4 in the morning, then gummies. They all hit around the same time. They were just like dying for a day. I would get a better trip sitter. I'm going to say that's not a ringing endorsement for your trip advisor. That's a rough one. Why do you think booze and cigarettes were popular with the World War II generation? I mean, because like cigarettes, because doctors were still being paid and allowed to be paid to say this cigarette will be good for your health and this will increase your vitality and all that bullshit. For alcohol, it was likewise a like more socially normal thing. But also because there was so much, especially among people who saw combat, which was a lot of Americans. I talked about this in my nostalgia video, where there was just an unknowable number of people who came back from the war with alcoholism and addictions, and morphine addiction was actually a really big one, because of the like social standards of the time, is that people just didn't. If you had an issue, you just bottled that shit up. Men didn't talk about their fucking issues. They kept that shit close to the vest, and then they like drank themselves to death or took it out on their wives or kids or whatever. Yeah. Oh yeah, I would get that. God, Quinn Decker, that sounds like shit. And yeah, I would say it mostly comes from PTSD. How many what conversation are y'all having? How many sex dolls have you seen that weren't unsettling? Zero. Yeah, Disc Throne, my nostalgia video has been out for a while. Just scroll back, was it 2-3 months ago? Your Nostalgia is Not Your Own is the title of it. If you haven't seen it, it's one of my favorite videos I've done this year. Please go check it out. Go support it. Yeah, like Bruce Magazine, you think about World War II is such a... The reason I covered World War II in nostalgia is that it was just so... It was so valorized in pop culture that and everybody grew up thinking that, like, oh, everybody was so great and everybody was so heroic, and we get Captain America and we get all these tales of heroism and comic books for decades and all this shit. But the reality of how that affected people is like a trauma that America never recovered from, where you had little children watching their friends be blown up in close proximity, killing grown people with... Hey. Stop. Give me a second. Holy shit! I'm sorry. None of that was on stream, but I just got a another throne that I did not. This must have happened in the last day, but god damn! Thank you so fucking much. Holy Christ! So I now have a 4K 60 face cam that I will be using for my content from now on, and a wireless micro high quality Rode mics, so that when I am able to go out on the field, I can actually have better recording quality than just my fucking phone. And then also, and I added this as totally a long shot, but holy shit, thank you so much. The Lego Game Boy that just came out. Yeah, I will look. I did not realize that another thing had been ordered. But I will look at whoever sent that and send you a personal thank you, because holy shit, I am I don't know. I am constantly overwhelmed by the support that I get, and I don't know. Thank you to whoever was so kind and generous, and thank you to everybody who's been so wonderfully generous with your time, watching my content, sharing it, engaging with it, and supporting me, because it's what really keeps me going, I think. Let me see. I missed some stuff. I'm late. What happened with Mamdani? How best to, he is being pragmatic, but not necessarily in the way that a lot of people feel comfortable saying he's living up to his promises. That's what it's saying. Where's the throne link? Do we have a throne link? Noise displacer. Well, I don't think he likes the pigs, but he hasn't fired one of the worst pigs, Tish, which fucking sucked. Oh, I guess over on Twitch, the throne link... Oh, they're over on YouTube. Johnny Viral, are you still in the chat? Would you be able to put the throne link over on YouTube? And thank you so much again. You don't have it? Bleh. Just to be here, 409. Have you considered the idea you deserve the support because you're pretty likable? Can't be that. No. No way. I'm going to need to go eat because it's 2 a.m. Get out of here, Hammock. Go get some sleep. Love you, Vesper in chat. Love you too. Thank you very much. Mamdani is smart, and I feel bad that it is politically advantageous. Yeah, like it is. He has so much working against him from just the shit that people are putting on him, and I honestly think the Trump thing showed what a serious, like, so many people were like, oh, this is him legitimizing Trump. But to me, the Trump meeting and the fact that Trump walked away fawning over him shows what a serious threat he is to an actual establishment. Where he was able to, as somebody who Trump was calling a communist and a radical and a Marxist and all this shit, go in, who should have been an existential threat, go in and walk out like, as much as people want to talk about, you know, oh, Trump, he loves Kim Jong-un and all these people that he wants to impress, he walked out impressed by Mamdani. Like, it's fucking crazy. And I think people are not giving enough credit to is that, yeah, because the shit Mamdani wants and advocates for and wants to do for New York might be socialist to a lot of interests, but they also go hand in hand with what Trump would like to be a boost in popularity. Oh, why is it? The fuck? Fuck you. Get out of here. What? I do before I... What time is it? It is 4. Okay, yeah. So I want to get through this before I have to leave. The hard look. Well, I think Trump respects power, and I don't think it's that, like, Mamdani is mayor. He does have a form of power. He is mayor elect. He does have a form of power. But Mamdani is not like, he is not like an institutional ruler of a country. He has charisma and he has conviction. Like, I think that is the thing that Trump understands and arguably, like, respects, but in the way that, like the Bible says, like you fear something to respect it. Yeah. Oh, God damn it. The big story is exclusive to subscribers. Fuck you. All right. Where's my... Hello? She missed you so many. Yeah. I missed you so many. Look at this gift I got. I got another throne thing.
Oh, yeah.
I got...
Legos. Good for you.
Legos good for me. I mean, more importantly, though, look at these sick-ass portable microphones.
Cute.
They're... Sure. And then
They're little. They're you can eat them.
4K 60 webcam.
Also cute. Little. You can...
I love you so many, honey.
I love you.
What was I going to do? Top Hat Samurai, thank you for 100 biddies. I went through a phase and still do where I would smoke, drink, etc. because I was taking some control by doing something I know harms me. I'm out of that now because I started training at a pro wrestling school, so I have an outlet. Best of luck to sorting out the drinking. I think it is, like, that outlet for me is being... I think another part of the kind of mushroom realignment or whatever is finding better, healthier outlets. And that's not going to be, like, regularly doing mushrooms or anything. But it will be, I think, being able to reprioritize and refocus on the things that are important to me, whether that is people in my life, the community here that supports me, the work that I'm doing and trying to diversify that. I've talked about this, a bit. Worshipper of the Olympians, thank you very much for $5. What is backpedaling on? It is just not fucking supporting the DSA candidate to primary Jeffries because he would rather not rock that boat right now. Is kind of the long and short of it. But yes, thank you also again, Top Hat Samurai, for that. I appreciate it. Let me see. Would I ever do pro wrestling? Probably not. That seems like a lot of work to get that fit. Like, I'm relatively fit, but I am not fucking jacked in the way that you need to for like show muscles. Hey, baby. Come here. I missed you. You were gone for so long.
Like an hour.
That's so many.
I had super breath. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll get to you anyway.
It's just streaming.
Yeah.
No. He does it? Or no?
Yeah, but then I'm going right.
Your movie? Damn.
Yeah, I know. Oh no. Or no.
Hey, Grandma.
Fine now, but thank you for another 50. Asbestos, forever chemicals. What mutant power are you hoping for? I'm banking on suction cup hands personally. I want dragon wings.
Dragon wings are sick.
I want dragon wings.
I freaking want dragon wings.
Actually, I friggin' want dragon wings because that would be so sick.
That'd be sick as hell.
That would be sick as hell.
My mom actually said it's my turn with the dragon wings.
Mama actually said it's my turn with the dragon wings.
I think dragon wings are good for me. My mom said I could have those.
It's so funny that the chat is getting to see
Whose fault it is the baby talk brainworms come from?
No, just us exchanging brainworms on main. It's so funny for me. Gamer Girl Bongwater. Hi, DD. I love your VODs. Thank you. Gamer Girl Bongwater. Go. Get out of here.
You about to talk how I keep trying to drink your bathwater? Is that what you're gonna say?
You can't say that when I'm live on stream, honey.
I don't care what the world knows. I want them to think I'm a freak.
You are a freak. You're a freak for that.
For you.
I'm a freak for you. Okay, let's try this. Why? DD bathwater when? Never. All right, here we go. So I'm going to talk about a pretty good, feel-good firearms competition I went to earlier this year where trans and queer people made up about a quarter of participants, and the unofficial rule was you're not allowed to be a bigot. I was going to describe the strange and whimsical mix of subcultures people embrace there, like polyamory and Mad Max cosplay wrapped up in pro-LGBT and Black Lives Matter patches. Then Charlie Kirk was killed. What a transit. I'm in. I'm already, the writing on this, I'm already in. Let's go. Suddenly I found myself wondering if I should write this story at all. Fair. We put my sources, gun-loving trans people in Trump's America, in danger. I'm still going to talk about the things I mentioned, but the story, even as I write, continues to get darker. Just to be here for 9, my last romantic prospect crashed and burned. I think I've accepted I'm going to be alone for a while. Don't accept that. Don't accept that. What? Why would you accept that? Because you know the problem with accepting you're going to be alone is that something can come along and you won't even realize it. Something good can come along and you have already convinced yourself that, like, nah, this isn't going to be for me. Or no, it's because nobody actually wants to be with me. Like, that kind of thinking will stop you from seeing what's right in front of your face. Worshipper the Olympians, thank you for another $5. I love this. This is hella based, and remember, under no pretext. Absolutely. I had somebody on Blue Sky. I rarely go on Blue Sky, but I had somebody on Blue Sky calling me a lib or saying I libbed out over pride. And if anybody remembers why that would be, I would be fascinated to know. Because the only thing I really remember doing for Pride this year was A, going down to LA and getting shot at with rubber bullets and tear gas, and B, making a video on how queer people should be armed if they want to go to Pride. Like, I accepted it. I'm going to die alone. It's over. Hey, we don't allow defeatism to me in here. I'm riding bitch in a pseudo golf cart at a gun range in the not quite desert that is Parma, Idaho, listening to two competitive shooters jokingly bicker over which of them is more marginalized. One, a 22-year-old YouTuber who goes by Gun Bunny, is a Russian Jew who's pansexual and has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a disability that makes her joints hurt, along with autism and ADHD. The other, our driver, is an indigenous Mexican Slavic Jew who is trans and chronically disabled. As we grind to it, this sounds like the makings of a polycule to me. As we grind to a halt, dust from the dirt road blowing around us, Gun Bunny declares the other shooter a winner. You have Slavic Jew, so you have me beat. To which the driver replies, even the Russians screwed us. Laughing, Gun Bunny offers a truce and a mission for them both, so what you're saying is we should team up to defeat Nazis. The vibes at High Desert Brutality match are closer to Burning Man than paramilitary. The shooting competition combines marksmanship with tasks like throwing 58-pound kettles down a field, blah, blah, blah. There's also a leftist theme, a workers' rights uprising on Mars. Cosplay, Gun Bunny is dressed in a Dune-inspired gray still suit made from workout clothes and faux leather and elaborate set design. It's one of the most intense shooting competitions I've been to and also one of the most queer-friendly events I've attended all year. Damn, that sounds fun as shit. I wish I knew about this. Okay, hang on, give me a second. Hey, baby. You went and you got the clothes, right? Yeah. Okay. I know, I want to go. This sounds awesome. Holy shit. Like, see, this is a good example of stuff that I wish I knew about, because this is stuff I would want to go and travel and do. I want to go cover cool shit like this and not just only people who hate me. Top Hat Samurai, thank you for 100 biddies, and finding something that motivates and engages with your works, with you works such wonders. As a trans woman, I was scared to go to the wrestling school. The owner was like, nobody should discriminate you for being trans here. We're a bunch of people who get in spandex and baby oil and play fight for paying attention, for a paying audience. Doesn't get much gayer. I appreciate that. That level of an unbridled acceptance is incredible. I agree. Anyone that isn't hateful. A 6-foot-tall firearms content creator on YouTube, aka a gun tuber with a salt and pepper undercut that flops to the right on top. A 51. I fed you. What do you want from me? Do y'all hear this cat? No, this is on wired.com. I'm just using the archive link. Getting around the paywall. If you want to learn about guns, ask your spicy trans girlfriends. His movement started about a decade ago with the YouTube channel In Range, which now has around 930,000 followers. Videos frequently focus on history he believes many conservatives in the gun world would love to forget, like slave revolts, member of the Native American tribe kicking the KKK's ass in a standoff in North Carolina, and possibly trans midwife in... Oh, hey, we talked about what's her name? In Custer's Cavalry. The channel's description said it's actively anti-racist, pro-human liberation, and LGBTQ plus rights. He's a champion of 2A for all, the belief that everyone, particularly minorities, should have access to arms. Might seem like a natural stance for any gun-loving American. Casarda's views have pissed off right-wing nuts so badly, there are years-long angry threads about him on AR15.com. Man. And Kiwi Farms, a forum notorious for harassing trans folks. We don't want to talk about marginalized communities depending on firearms because we don't like the marginalized communities, says of how right-wingers see the issue. My cat's a boy kisser. No, she is a girl kisser. Nubosaurus565, thank you for following. I love you. Yes, I do. Why are you yelling at me? I just fed her. She has hard food. I literally, today, I completely changed out her litter box. She has water. I can see it. Oh, wait. Hang on. Let me actually see if they need water. That might be the thing. There you go. Is that what you want? Huh? Here. Meathead. Alrighty. Okay. Nope, she's just chilling in there. Whatever. What do you want from me? Seconds before he was shot to death, Charlie Kirk shared a myth about trans people propagating mass shootings. An attendee at one of his Turning Point USA events asked him, "Do you know how many trans Americans have been mass shooters in the last 10 years?" To which Kirk replied, "Too many." Numbers from the nonprofit Gun Violence Archive show that there have been 5 confirmed between 2013 and 2025, making trans people responsible for less than 0.1%. Neither this data nor the fact that the suspect in Kirk's killing is not trans has stopped the right from using his death to further its crusade against trans Americans. Bolstered by an early Wall Street Journal report which cited an inaccurate federal memo saying authorities suspected there was transgender and fascist ideology carved into some of the bullet casings at the scene, prominent Republicans have said trans people should be locked in mental institutions or not be allowed to use the internet. The Heritage Foundation, which published Project 2025, a policy blueprint for Trump, is now calling for the FBI to create a trans ideology-inspired violent extremism category. TIVE. I remember we talked about that on stream. Woof. Damage just got back to me. Alrighty. Plenty of brutality match attendees are concerned with self-defense. Quote, people see a threat, they're scared, says Jane Byrne, a soft-spoken trans educator in her late 30s. We're chatting inside the clubhouse at the Palmer Rod and Gun Club as the shooters prepare for the day. It's a basic shack equipped with a bathroom and water and swarming with an ungodly number of flies. Bird is resting before her plan to compete tomorrow in the Roaring Twenties division, where she'll be cosplaying as Corporal Betsy, a lesbian character in Fallout New Vegas. Other divisions, like Cyberpunk and Space Cowboy, determine which styles of guns people can use, modern or historic. That's so fun. That's so fucking fun. That's like Ren Fair shit. That's nice. Bird lives in Iowa, a state that recently removed gender identity as a protected class from its Civil Rights Act. Jesus Christ. She doesn't want her real name used here because as someone who we have somebody in here who is, or is it Ohio? I think somebody was Ohio. She doesn't want her real name used, works with kids. It would be very, very easy to end up on libs of TikTok or Tucker Carlson. In recent months, her and a handful of other progressive shooters have been hosting free self-defense 101 classes for marginalized people. Let's fucking go, community organizing. Let's fucking go. Sometimes that just means helping people realize that firearms aren't suited for them. Quote, there's almost a stereotype, an in-group stereotype, that if you want to learn about guns, ask your spicy trans girlfriends. I'm now, I guess, one of those. Oh, that's so funny. Growing up in Wisconsin, her dad, a competitive shooter since the 70s, was buying guns for me before I was born. That's cute. The decision to come out also alienated her from certain family members, including her grandfather, who refused to call her by her name. Kimiko2547, thank you very much for following. Brian Walsh, we talked about it. Not a mass shooting. You need, which, hey, look, sucks, but you need more bodies to be a mass casualty event, technically. But B, as far as I know, we still don't know anything about the shooter. We did cover that on stream, though. She shows me one of her patches, a mama possum carrying armed babies on her back. Her water bottles are decked out in stickered slogans like Protect Trans Youth. Love that. Vibe with those with that of a local shooting club. Last time we tried to show up, there were 2 other women there, and when the second arrived, the first one said to her, I'm glad there's another real woman here for a change. Bird says, I just decided it's not really worth trying to go to those anymore. Man, cunt. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Even before Kirk's death, right-wing personalities like Andy Ngo were sharing images of trans people. Here we go. I wonder if they probably talked to Alana for this. Many ostensible supporters suggesting trans people be stripped of their arms. Quote, how much do you want to bet we're going to find out there's a trans terror cell that groomed Tyler and possibly even provide him with a gun? Asked MAGA influencer Laura Loomer. Following up with a slur, there are literally shooting clubs now where trans slur meet up to learn how to shoot rifles, and they wear shirts that say kill fascists, and the Second Amendment is for shooting cops. They are training for war. It's very dangerous. Instead, I've been getting the tea about how brutality matches are a kink-friendly space from Deviant Olum. 40-year-old hacker and gun tuber with an armed trans woman patch above his right butt cheek and abolish ICE stickers he's handing out freely. This is the ideal of a cis dude ally right here. I'm assuming he's cis dude. Poly pansexual currently figuring out his status with Gun Bunny. Aw, the two of them who have 180,000 and 22,000 YouTube subs respectively and affectionately hold each other throughout the weekend. Bunny's boyfriend, who is married Pauline, wearing a pro-gun, pro-gay, a better way 2A shirt, is also here. Gun channel size difference, anybody? That's got to be a thing, right? 20 feet. 30 seconds after he pops a few shots with his rifle, people start shouting fire. They don't mean gunfire. Alum's shot sparks a grass fire in the drying 90-degree heat. Huge plumes of smoke blowing into the air make her way closer, wait for emergency crews to arrive. With my reporting plan literally up in flames, I decided to meet with tactical girlfriend. Earlier in the day, before the event, I watched her shoot targets out of an abandoned school bus with an AR-15, later placing third at that stage. I was impressed by her speed and marksmanship in the poorly lit room, which she's sharing with two fellow trans women shooters. Her content creation prowess comes to life. She knows her angles, and that's harder with a bulky AR-15 involved. She's striking. Her thick black eyebrows and pronounced cheekbones make her stand out in a crowd, even when her mouth is covered by her keffiyeh, which she wears to hide her identity. Fucking base. Let's go. Unlike some other tactical, is also a straight up anarchist, says she's never felt unwelcome at any shooting events. Her friend, who I'll call Nancy, even jokes that they love coming to small towns because people generally don't clock them as trans, but they get some looks at a gun store. Nancy adds, so they tried to fit in. As soon as we started talking shit about Gavin Newsom, they got real friendly. Oh, see, man. It's annoying because it's like, yeah, like you hate liberals and I hate liberals, but not for the same reason. That's what we fucking, what I was just talking, I think I was talking about this last stream, is like the beauty of being a leftist is that you hate libs more than any, like conservative. That's so fucking funny. Interest in firearms stems from being a history buff, doing Soviet Red Army enactments. At a backyard gathering of brutality match shooters later that evening, you noticed her YouTube channel, which now has almost 67,000 subscribers, wanted to signal boost her. They talked about shooting matches and, quote, stuff we'd like. They didn't talk about trans issues or even the fact she is trans. Still, everyone lost their shit, Casarda says. What that boiled down to was a realization that I don't think there's a way to fix the old gun community. There are people he had to asked to leave the in-range community. But he also lost half of his Patreon income and most industry contacts? Jesus Christ. He doesn't accept sponsors because he feels they're a corrupting influence. We've had to really build our own path forward. I didn't know that. That's a fucking real one right there. Taking a beating like that is not fucking easy. Everything ramps up. I watch conservative rage machine deploy. God, oh, I'm cutting it really close on my time. Fuck. All right, give me a second. Oh, shit. I wanted to talk about tomorrow because I completely forgot. It is Thanksgiving. I think I'm going to try and do so. How many people, if I could just get a quick taste in the chat of how many people are going to be like not really having anything to do tomorrow. Because I was thinking of recording and doing another conservative comedy stream because I haven't done anything. And it would be fun if a lot of other people were here. But if that's not on the table, like, feel free to completely let me know, because I would very much like that to be the case. So I'd love to watch a stream. And that's what I'm feeling, is that, like, even if people are busy with family or whatever, I kind of expect there to be like a, like, just watch this on your phone for a little bit. Oh, thank you very much, Jade Eleonora. What time? I don't know yet. Probably, I don't know, probably like around 1, 2 noon. So we've got, I do need to get going, unfortunately. We've got Tina_2, Rin Vixen, and Hassan, but I don't know, guys. Do you think Hassan needs my raid? I think he's probably good. Let's go over to Tina too. I haven't watched much of her stuff. It seems like she's doing politics stuff. I completely didn't realize what time it was, and I have to get going. But thank you all so much for everything, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay tuned to the channel, do all that stuff, and yeah, we will.